G'day guys, and welcome back to another Wednesday night live stream. So good to have all you here and a few regulars, which is good. And I see a couple of new people as well here. So it is fantastic. So I hope everyone has had a great week. And of course, before we start, please give this video a thumbs up and like it and share the video as well. So I hope everyone is well. I've seen couple of guys in there have had a bit of a not such a good time in the comments section, so I hope they are getting better and everything turns out all right for them. So I of course want to thank our long-time sponsor, well, who's been the longest sponsor we ever had and the only one who's actually stuck with us and is the only loyal sponsor I've ever had, and that is Browns Plains Firearms. So they are in Brisbane, so if you're in Brisbane, head down and have a look at their store. They are a great store, not one of the big ones, so you get personal help, and everyone in there are mad keen hunters as well, and they know a lot of good spots around the countryside you can go hunt on. So thank you very much to Browns Plains Firearms. And yes, I did see, Jason, there will be no political talk because Jason Pillfoot, yep, you're right, there will be no political talk. You're all sick of that garbage, and so am I. So we have got no interest in talking about them, and probably will be the next elections, really. Yeah, you're all sick of all that sort of stuff and hearing about the gun bans. We're just repeating. Remember, all of that is never really going to change, unfortunately, but we may talk a little bit about that because we've got some ideas tonight for tonight's topic. Now, Jason won't be here. He is very lucky. It's a long weekend down in his state, not here in Queensland, and he has gone hunting. So he's off to the state forest again down there, and he's going to be blasting a few deers. Well, hopefully he will be. And it must be freezing down there because I got to 3 degrees last night where I live. So, yeah, thanks to everyone sending their messages about the dog tack I got last week, and quite a nice hole right down to the bone of my arm. So it wasn't that nice, and that's slowly healing. I tried working today, and it just opened up and started bleeding everywhere again. So it's pretty bad. So hopefully it won't get infected. Been on all these antibiotics, and so thank you to everyone who sent their messages to me about that attack. So what happened was, everyone wanted to know, was I was walking through a car park and saw this massive bull massive on the back of a ute, so I went clear around it. So I was about a meter away from the ute, and the thing just, as I walked past, just lunged out and latched onto my arm and punctured a decent hole down to the bone, and pretty much had a confrontation with the guy who owned the ute. So I was lucky to get my arm out of the dog's mouth. There was no warning. It just happened. I was bleeding everywhere, and he couldn't care less, this guy. So hopefully he's going to get prosecuted and the mongrel dog put down, because you don't need to have one of those sort of animals out in public. If it was a child, the child would just be dead. That simple. The thing just was a vicious thing. So so the arm's healing slowly, and they wanted to put stitches through it, but I just couldn't have stitches because I had to go get work done this week. I tried working today for the first time, and it didn't turn out too good. So it's all bandaged up, and I've got to clean it out each day and all that sort of stuff. And on these really nasty medicine they gave me, these antibiotics, so that make you feel really sick every time you have them. It's just awful, bloody awful. So let's hope I'll have more more news on that. The investigation squad for the council said it can take a few months to it all sort out. These things don't happen overnight, so yeah, it's up to the council now. Yeah, and Matt here said, "What if it was a child?" I can tell you now, the head was huge. It was the biggest bull mastiff cross thing I'd seen. Massive. It was like this, and it would have just killed the kid in a heartbeat. An elderly person, it would have easily have snapped their arm easily. It all ripped open the skin and everything without any hesitation. It would have just definitely destroyed a smaller person's arm. I managed to get ripped it out of the mouth, and then had to go at the owner, and the owner just said, "Well, don't walk near my effing ute." So that was that. So not too impressed, but it will get better. They reckon it'll take a while because it's not stitched up, and apparently dog bites do take forever. So that is it. So tonight we'll be talking a bit about how we're going to get new shooters into the sport, which would be fantastic. So all we definitely need more. You hear all these different stories on we how many shooters there are in Australia, but you never really get the exact number. I've heard there's 1 million shooters. I've heard there's 2 million. I've heard there's 700,000. You just never know. But whatever it is, we do need more people getting into it. And there's a couple of easy steps that I've come out with that I reckon would be good. Unfortunately, they won't really happen, I don't think. But if you guys have any ideas, please put them in the comments down here and I'll read them out. Every bit of information would help. So, yeah, the biggest thing would be we've got to try and come up with a simple way, not a way that will scare the politicians into anything like trying to do more bans and all that sort of stuff, because that's the last thing we need. So I'm just trying to read these comments here. Jason's in here. He's out getting a bite to eat before he goes out deer hunting. Um, Yep, another one here. Tank Mother stop the alphabetical soup programs at school. And like Kata says, it's get it in the schools. Yeah, well, definitely, you got to stop all that woke left wing garbage in the schools. I'm 100% behind that. I'm a firm believer in getting your kids out of school and homeschooling. That is, I think, a big must. Or even get a group of parents together and you all take turns in homeschooling your own kids, which I think will be a lot better. That's for sure. So that's definitely one good thing. But unfortunately, this country is going very left wing, and it doesn't matter who's in Parliament; it always will. You've got everything from the Liberal and Labor, and then you got people like the Liberal Democrats who just say love everyone and all that sort of crap. So yeah, they're all pretty much the same people. Uh, Here we go. M. Trundle, we have opened our property to let people with children get into the shooting and hunting. That is fantastic. That's a good way. How is that going? Are you getting many people? That's a great way to get people on. If you have access or own a property, getting people on there to have a go, that would be fantastic. So good stuff. And thank you for the super chat. Um, Here we go. Jason and me laughed at this sort of stuff before. Train more hot girls to be in fire instructors. Yep. A majority of shooters are very simple minded people, and you've got a set of tits. They'll just ogle and drool everywhere and make fools of themselves. Seen that a million times. I took my ex shooting one day, pistol shooting. We had everything out from the Desert Eagle to the 44 Magnum revolver to a lot of 9mm, and just these guys trying to come over and give her advice. The second I stepped away, she soon put them in their place. But they just, as soon as they see a lady there, they just go goo goo and gaga and act like complete fools. So, so one of my things is, which I think is a very important thing, and the biggest thing about getting into shooting, we'll talk about pistols soon as well, but we'll talk about rifles to start off with. One of the biggest things that you get is how much money it costs, and that the process, and how much of a hassle there is to get your license. So I think the number one, but unfortunately this won't change, because as soon as you get an organization that has a genuine reason, which I'm always stand by, is the wrong thing to do, because they will never ever, I don't see, in my opinion, want to get rid of the genuine reason, because that's a form of their income. uh, that's fair enough. If that's how they make their money, that's all good. But don't go out there be an organisation and say you're going to fight for everyone's rights, and then you are giving out genuine reasons where you have to. Basically, that's one thing that has to go. And I don't see any organisation out there actually wanting to get rid of, would want to get rid of or get rid of the genuine reason, because you don't. A lot of people have said they don't want to belong to a club. They don't want to pay the extra money to belong to a club. They just want to go shooting at a range when they want to shoot. And once they do that, uh, that's all they want to do. They don't have to belong to a club, do mandatory shoots. We're lucky here in Queensland that we don't have to have the mandatory shoots. But down in New South Wales, I'm not too sure about other states, but you got to do a certain amount a year. So anyone from New South Wales, tell us how many a year you got to do for to keep your rifles, which will be interesting. But up here, you're going to do mandatory shoots for your actual pistols. So, which is also, we'll talk about that soon. But definitely, we've got to get rid of the genuine reason. That's another form of another sort of a fee. Basically, it's like yeah, like a fine. Really, you get your license, you get fined because you have to now pay $100 or whatever it is to some club or organization to belong to them to actually be able to have your gun license. And as we all know, it is extremely hard to find people with properties that will sign a letter for you to saying that you can have your genuine reason as being on their property. Is Ryan uh, WA 6 shoots per year for pistols? Yeah, we got the same 6 shoots for one caliber, and then if you have more than one class, sorry, and if you have more than one class, it goes down to 4 per class. So I've got 3 classes, so that is 12 shoots a year I've got to do. And I have heard them making noises that if you're one of these people who do all your shoots right at the end of the actual year, um, they don't see that as you participating in the actual sport, and they want to try and get rid of you. Get it, saying you aren't taking it seriously as a sport. So why do you need a handgun? Well, I don't. I do all my shoots, but I not every time I go there. Once I've done my 12, I have that written down in my book. But I don't always. After that, I don't bother getting my book signed because I'm just there to practice. I'm not not there to do anything else. So it looks like I only go there 12 times a year, but I probably go there at least 30 times a year to my pistol club, shooting and doing contests and just having general fun. But yeah, I don't get it signed every time. So I've heard that they have made a few noises about that in some states as well. Um, uh, yeah, Sydney Militia. He's pretty much right. In Australia, you can only really have one hobby. It's too expensive to be a car, motorbike, and a gun guy. Yeah, I got to agree with that. Yeah, every hobby's yeah, here seems to, well, everything in Australia is really expensive. I know because I've got to buy tools for one of my other hobbies and for work, and the fact that we can't even get a lot of the equipment over here, and when it does come in, it just costs you an arm and a leg because you've got nowhere else to go. And it's still like that with guns as well. And we'll talk about that's another thing that we can get rid of. So I'll just go through. So the number one thing for me, which I think would be quite an easy thing, is to get a genuine reason gone, absolutely gone. So we need to find someone that will people that can actually go and challenge that. And I really don't see um, people who say they stand up for us going to do that if they have the actual genuine reason, because why would they? It's ruining their business model, hey, which I can sort of understand that, because hey, that's how they make their money. So we really do need to get rid of this genuine reason, that's for sure. So and then people will think, hey, great, one less hurdle to jump through, and it's a lot easier. The other thing I reckon we need to do is to get rid of the massive waiting times. Okay, you go for your license. Once again, we'll talk. It's even worse for pistols. We'll talk about pistols soon. Is you go for your license, and it is just absolutely horrendous to wait. It can take up to a year, 2 years. Sometimes I've heard, and just time and time again, that's what you hear. I can't be bothered, and the wait for it all. Just the long amount of time I've got to wait. It's just that's one of the other things. I'm sure they could streamline this. I'm pretty damn positive they could streamline it all. That's for sure. So just City Military again. At my club, if you volunteer to RO a pistol match, you get marked off as having to have a shoot. That's a very good idea. Dexter, uni target shooting clubs with IPSC, supposedly plenty of anti-woke students who are interested. Well, that's good to know. I do enjoy the IPSC. I used to do that down the Gold Coast, but unfortunately, yeah, there's a lot of chest beating in that, which really sucks. And Colin, pistol shooting is 6 shoots, and it's a crime in New South Wales to turn up to the range, get your name marked off, and not shoot. That's same with here in Queensland. You have to actually do a shoot, but we are very lucky here that when you turn up here, we can just do. If it's not a high cal shoot, we can actually just do the rolling comp. So you get a target and you shoot. I think it's 10 rounds at several distances. My club's an indoor club that goes to 25 meters. I think it's 7 meters, 15 meters, and 20 meters. You put 10 rounds at a target, and you tally up your score, and you go into the contest that way, and they announce a winner at the end of each month. So you can do it, which is good, because you can do that on your own time. You're not being forced to go at a selected time where you may find it difficult because you have to work, or the weekends you want to hang out with your kids, things like that. But I want to know, down in New South Wales, for your actual rifles, what do you got to do down there? That's something I'd really be interested to know. Uh, Aaron Johnson, Shooting Stuff Australia, friend of mine, took 18 months for his license to come through. That is unbelievable. You can't tell me it takes 18 months to do a quick check on someone. These are the people who have the weapons licensing bureaus. Are called different things in every state, of course. They have the actual they have all your information, the police information at their fingertips pretty much. They can tell whether you can or can't have a license pretty much on the spot. I don't see why unless they're getting absolutely inundated with thousands of applications every day. I really don't see why they should ever take that long. It shouldn't be any more than a month or so for them to sort it out if they're busy, to be quite honest. It's it's just ridiculous. So I'll just go through a couple of these questions. Okay, Colin, this must be for your rifles. 4 shoots for sports target shooting in New South Wales and 2 for hunting club. Okay, so yeah, so I've got to go to your rifle range 4 times a year. So I wonder if it'll work like a lot of pistol clubs. That's why I tell everyone, says, you know, like moving up to Queensland, that I've got to where do I go to get my genuine reason in Queensland? And I just tell them, if you enjoy pistol shooting, join a pistol club, because most pistol clubs let you shoot shotguns and 22 rifles, so that will cover you for your rifles as well as your shotgun, as well as your pistols, if you're into pistol shooting as well. And if they're not into pistol shooting, they'll go there and see people shooting, and I can tell you now, pistol shooting's cool. They'll pretty much get hooked straight away. So that is another reason, getting the two of the to get the time just cut straight down. That for sure, because people don't want to pay all this money, hundreds of dollars, and to get it cut down. Uh, Thank you very much, Lockie McFarlane, for the $20 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Mitchie, I'm looking at getting a Ruger Precision Rifle, Gen 3 and 6.5 Creedmoor. Yeah, I think I got a review of that up. I'm pretty sure I've got it up. If not, I'll find it and I'll release it. Great rifle, man. I got the 308 version. It's a tack driver. My best shooting with that at 1,000 meters was in the 308 version was 100 mils at 1,000 meters. So yeah, great rifle. You'll enjoy it. Well worth the money. I'm not too sure what they're worth anymore because I haven't bought a gun for a long time. They were pushing, I think, $2,000 when I bought mine years and years ago. Here we go. Foxy. Oops, sorry, just gotta. Foxy. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I could go to the pistol club, and one person had a key to the range sign off and do a shoot as long as the flags were up or good. Yeah, that would be nice, that's for sure. A hunting property that my mate goes to, literally in the small town, they have quite a nice rifle range and pistol club there, so you can take your pistols up there and blast away. And apparently the old guys basically do the same thing. They go there, they can sign your book, and you just tell them what day you want to go out, and they're retired, and they get out there and they're absolutely gun nuts and love their guns and love seeing new guns and shooting with the young people. So next time I go hunting, I'm gonna go do a contest up that way, which would be fantastic. It definitely changed a lot from the 80s and 90s, that's for sure. We used to be able to just walk into Kmart and buy your rifles and your ammunition, and yep, not anymore. Um, okay, here we go. The Ruger Precision Rifle, $3K for an RPR now. Man, that is expensive. And that actually leads to one of my other ways we can get this down. Is also there's too many. We've talked about this before. There is too many hands in the pie right now. Too many hands in the pie trying to make money off shooters. So you got your genuine reason rubbish. You got your waiting time, and then you got to go and pay for a PTA. So there's no purpose. The PTA serves no purpose apart from just another fine disguised as a fee to go and apply for a gun. So you're all licensed, you're all good, all fantastic, and then you go buy your first gun, and you got a 28 waiting day period, cooling off period. What are you going to cool off for? You've waited 18 months to get your license. I think you're pretty much bloody well cooled off by now. So you caught 28 days, and then you can finally, then you have the privilege of paying them $40 odd to wait another 28 days before they'll send you a bit of paper saying you can go buy a rifle now. So you're all licensed, all good. You're not a criminal, and then you got to ask permission to go and buy a gun, and that takes like 7 days, and you've got to visit your gun shop a couple of times, and finally you can buy your rifle. And over in Australia, for overseas viewers, when I say buy a rifle, I mean buy an absolutely overpriced rifle, because there's so many hands in the pie until the poor gun shop owner gets his hands on the gun, and they make hardly any money. I can tell you now, on new guns, the shop is lucky to make 10%, 10 to 15%, and that's it on new guns. So they don't make a hell of a lot of money. I know this because I know a gun shop owner. They don't make a lot of money on new guns, and that's why it's very competitive out there. When you got to go from whatever, import them, they go through the hands of a big importer. You go see the huge buildings and everything. That all gets all that, and all their dozens of staff, their big warehouses. That all gets factored into the price of that gun, and they put their markup after all that, they want on it, they're clear profit. And then the gun shop owner gets it, and they got to try and sell it and compete against some of the big shops who buy in bulk. And I do know a few items that some of the big shops out there get. They basically are getting it for uh, they're selling it basically at wholesale prices because they're getting such a big discount when they buy it. And so the poor gun shops, smaller gun shops, which is the majority of the gun shops here in Australia, have to try and match that, or they just lose the sale. And yeah, it just a hard time. And I feel sorry for some of these gun shops, that's for sure. In Vegas, yep, $3,000 for Ruger. I know it's crazy. Um, what do you pay for the RPRs over there, Vegas? It'll be interesting to know. And yeah, so yeah, that's another thing that has to go. The PTAs, it serves no purpose at all. And then when the people hear that you have to get, oh, there we go, Vegas register. Sorry, $600. Unbelievable. That's what I'm saying. 3,000 over here, $600 in the US. The exchange rate, even say if it's say the exchange rate. This is just off the top of my head, it's all hypothetical. I don't know the exact figures what these companies do. So say that's $1,200 Australian. Say worst case, and then you get for the actual buying the product, which they'll be buying it. Remember, they'll be buying it at wholesale prices as well. The wholesalers, they'll bring them at wholesale prices. I'm pretty sure, and so they get it here. So say for example, it's $1,200. Say even $500 in taxes, so it comes up to 1,700. And the gun shop gets it, and he makes about $300 off it. You can do the maths, how much is left over in the middle for the middleman. So that's another thing. It's just an absolute money grab. And as Miss Wonderful said, the PTAs are a money grab, and they'll never drop them. Exactly, they'll never drop them because this is what pays for them to have a registry to keep track of our guns. And we all know registration leads to confiscation. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't want their guns when they find out that it gets registered. They don't want. They don't want it. They don't want it registered. They don't want the government tracking it. So yeah, they just don't want it being tracked, and they don't want people knowing their business, which I 100% agree. It's your private property, it's your business, and we've seen before that the registries have been compromised, and people have ended up with the registry. The real criminals have ended up with the registries list of them, and they're just used as a shopping list. Um, Aaron Johnson here said $600 is $832 Australian, so that's how much they pay in America, and we pay $3,000 for the same gun. That is absolutely ridiculous. And this is another one. CZ Shadow, two price, 2,300. He paid for it, 1,700 5 years ago. Yep, that's pistols for you, because there's not a hell of a lot of pistol shooters, as we're going to talk about, and the reasons why. It's just such a small market, and it's just the whole mentality over here is, where else are you going to go? That's it. Where else are you going to go? So it's just bloody ridiculous. Yeah, handgun market is just so expensive, and handguns is a very expensive sport to get into. I'm lucky I haven't bought a handgun for donkey's years. I bought mine years ago, but my first handgun, the Sig Sauer Tactical, it's like the one that the Navy SEALs used to use. It's all coated with that same stuff that they use. Pretty much looks the same. That was just on 3,000, and that was, oh, geez, uh, 10 odd years ago, I think it was. And God knows what they are now. If you can still get them, I have no idea. So it's always been expensive, always been expensive. And that also comes in under the price of ammunition over here. The ammunition's so expensive. It's just ridiculous. And it's getting scarcer and scarcer. And then, of course, you get into reloading, and you find out the price of all the reloading gear. And that's another can of worms opening up, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, which is not good at all. Uh, and here we go, Neil. In Victoria, find a farmer who wants fox and rabbit shoot, and you don't have to join a club. Yep, it's same with up here. If you can find a farm that will sign you off, if they go need pest controlling. I think that's pretty much in every state that can be your genuine reason. And it's a shame that you have to go through all that rubbish for the genuine reason, and I wish people would fight to get rid of it. I think that's something that we can achieve because you're not actually. I think that's one. If we're going to start trying to fight for gun laws, I hate to say it, but when gun bans come up, when if it's gone to the stage where they're going to ban a gun, they want the gun gone, and you can throw as much money at it as you want. Unfortunately, I'm not saying you shouldn't try, but unfortunately, you're not going to change their minds. I've told you before. I've worked on a government lawyer's house, and that's exactly what he told me. He said when it gets to the stage of there's a ban, writing as many letters and protesting as much as you want, it's not going to change anything. And remember, the government have all the money and they just fight you till you have no money left. And that's just a sad state. And yeah, it's just bad, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But I do think getting something like uh, cutting down the time, getting rid of genuine reason is something that we can get because it's not like we are actually going to we're not asking for giving us more guns. Gives us semi-autos back. Hey, we'd all love that, but really, we know they're not going to ever get rid of the NFA. That's here to stay, and every premier has agreed to that, and they've said that publicly over the years. There'll be a cold day in hell before they ever do. So I think the small things like that. We're not asking for any loosening of laws, like loosening so we can buy more guns. We're just asking if they can just cut down the costs for us to get into shooting and maintain our shooting sport. I think that was very obtainable, was getting rid of the genuine reason, and also maybe slimlining the processing applications. There's no reason why it should take 18 months. And they're the biggest two things that I hear that people say that they want that done. That's the two of the biggest things they want done. So it would be so that's the two of them, and also the price of the guns. I don't think we can ever do that. We'll never stop that because, unfortunately, the companies and everyone wants to make money. I think just have to pick your guns very wisely when you buy a gun, and think, is this the gun I want to hold on forever, basically, and make sure you choose it. Exactly. Like I've brought guns and sold them and lost money. Right now, you're not going to really lose money if you sell guns, but in the past, I've bought them and decided I didn't want them, and I've lost money on them. Mr. Wonderful, if I can't find a circuit judge here, may get one imported. Don't waste your time or money. They are crap guns. I've used several of them. They're inaccurate. They fire crap into your face, and you'll even see on the review the one we used, the 45 Colt /410 shotgun. It broke. We cracked the stock. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't really bother, to be quite honest with you, with it. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't bother getting one. Sorry, Mr. Wonderful, but there is way better guns out than that. It's not a very accurate gun at all. Okay, Mr. Bushranger, very nice guy. And thank you very much, Bushranger. Actually, sign up to my Patreon on my second page. So if you haven't seen my second channel, sorry, go over the link to the description. Building Stuff Australia. I just released a new video, so you'll see my new build video there. I've made in the new workshop. The system is called Anaco Trinity Tyranny. I suggest people read up on it. I believe that bulletproof vests and helmets should be allowed for all shooters for safety reasons as PPE. Fair call. Yep. I was actually shooting a pistol contest, a high cal contest because we have them inside, and I've seen it also in the open air, so it doesn't really matter if it's inside or open air. And the actual lead was coming back and hitting people. And I know a guy who was shooting a contest, an outdoor contest, and he was shooting a 9mm, and it hit the gong, came back and smashed him square in the chest. Didn't It knocked the wind out of him. He was at a closer range. I think we're still over here for contests at 7 meters. You can't be any closer than 7 meters. So he was back a bit and came back and really did knock him for a 6. Hit him square in the center of the chest, and he was pretty bruised up and had the wind knocked out of him. So yeah, safety. That's why suppressors should be legal. It is a safety thing as well. You've got to. We all don't want to lose our hearing. Um, a lot of us, especially in the trades, have bad hearing as it is, or tinnitus from all the loud tools we do and we use. So you don't want to lose your hearing. That's for sure. Uh, but Mr. Wonderful saying it's the closest thing we can get to a semi-auto. That's the reason why I want one. That's fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, don't pay much for them because they're not very good guns. Don't pay much for them. If I was going to get one, I would say get the 22 version, only because you can hold more, and it doesn't, and it didn't blow crap up into your face. But you should be wearing glasses anyway. But yeah, I just didn't like that at all, where it blew it back into your face. That's for sure. And you got to be careful how you hold it. Just like a revolver, don't put your thumb in front of it because you don't want to lose the end of your thumb. Okay, so that's the most simplest ways, I reckon, for our rifles. That is to get rid of all of that stuff, and just get rid of all that, and it'll be more appealing. So it'll save people costs. The biggest thing, no one has a lot of money these days. It'll save costs. So once you can do that, uh, people will start saying, "Hey, I can afford to do this. No, I can do it, and maybe I can afford. The kids or the wife can afford it too now. So we can get a couple more people in." But as we know, we don't think the authorities really want more people in the shooting sports. I'd like to see a lot less. So a lot of this here is A, to make the money, and B, I reckon it is to try and discourage people from doing it, to think that it's just too expensive and it's too much of a hassle. So pistols. Now that's another can of worms. How many pistol shooters are here in the comments section? Oh, sorry, Cliff. Roll call. Okay, I'll do a quick roll call here and see who is in here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, didn't see that. I'll just go up a bit. Jason does it off some other screen, but I can't. Yeah, mine doesn't say that screen. So here we have Andrew Mackerel, Colin Penfold. G'day to all of you guys, and thanks for joining us. Alex George, Mr. Wonderful, Ryan Vegas AB, Looking Over Hell, love the name. Matt 1976, and must excuse me, Matt, I don't recall ever seeing you in here. Nice to have you. Thank you very much. Andy 123477, aka Daniel Andrews. Wonder if he's going to change his name when Daniel Andrews gets kicked out. D40, of course, Bush Ranger, Tankmeister, Redneck Rumbler, Salty Skippy, Harps 666, Cliff Lee. I think we said City Militia. And that's basically all I can see. Stella Spruce. Do we have a new female in here? If so, hello, never seen you before. Welcome to the live stream. Hope you join up more often. Blue blunt machete, which is good. You never have a blunt machete. You'll get hurt having blunt knives. Victrix 300. One of my favorite rifles I ever shot was a Victrix. Bloody expensive, but very nice. A friend of mine has a couple of them, and they are fantastic rifles. Who else we have? Fox 86, Skull and Crossbones 65. Nice name. Retro 877. So if I have missed you, I'm sorry, but the names just go past so fast, and I can't go all the way up because I will actually, yeah, it just doesn't let me. It starts deleting the comments above us. So that's what I think about the rifles, guys. So as I said, who is a pistol shooter in here? So jump in the comments, tell me what you like shooting, what sort of caliber, and I want to know how long did your pistol license take? Because this is the doozy in this country is getting a pistol license. So you got your rifle license, all good. You're not a criminal. Um, oh, hang on. Retro, I haven't been here the whole string, mate. Hello, Retro. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Um, so you got your rifle license, all good to go. Shooting rifles could be for a couple of years. The Not having a problem. So now you want to, oh, hey, I like pistol shooting. Want to give that a go? I've got a spare thousands and thousands of dollars just laying around to chuck into it. So I will go and start pistol shooting. So you get down to your pistol club. I'm only speaking what happens in Queensland. I'm not too sure down in other states, but here we go. Mitchie, oh, where is it? 12 months down where he is, 6 months wait, Andrew said for Cat H. That's good, 6 months. So you go to the club and you got to sign up and you're on 6 months probation. Sort of uh, like, I just have no idea why. You just are. You know, 6 months, you got it before you can even apply. So you got to go there and do 3 or 6 shoots. I can't remember in that 6 months. It's always better to go more often, and if you're really getting into it, you'll pretty much go there each weekend and participate. So you'll go there. So you do that, and then your time comes to, then you got to apply for another license, which I think is absolutely crap. If you've got a firearms license, it should be all firearms, pistols included. So you then apply, and I've heard it's taking up to, like Bush Ranger just said here, 12 to 18 months before you get it. When I did mine well over 10 years ago now, it was, what was it? It was 9 months, and that was really pushing the friendship. That was took forever. 9 months to get the actual pistol license. From so no so From the time I actually applied. So it's 9 months plus a 6 months probation. And you got to go through all the crap again, going through all the police checks, even though you still got your rifle license, you've done nothing wrong, all the police checks, and then they can still deny. Um, they can still deny you your pistol license, as we just saw with who was it? That DJ. Carl Sanderlands. They denied he's got a rifle license. They denied him a pistol license, but I don't know why. So they can still deny you for that. I believe there should be screening, of course, like all firearms. There should be screening of people who go for their licenses and to make sure that they're not bad people. So you got to do, then you go do that, and then people go, right, okay, I'll put up with that. 6 months plus 9 months. Now it's going to be another a year, so it's 18 months to 2 years. You'll wait and wait, and all you can do is can't buy any firearms, you can't buy any pistols. You just can go and use the club ones, and you can't. And during this, you're still regarded on your probation, I think, and you can't go there and just shoot by yourself or do any of that. You've got to be there with people, and everyone's got to overlook you. So you're still just like a third class citizen, basically, at the club that you're paying money to belong to, because you do have to. If you have a pistol license, there is no shooting on private land. You have to belong to a pistol club. And that's why I tell everyone, if you're going for a genuine reason, you're best to bite the bullet and just sign up to a pistol club, because it covers both in one shot, your pistol and rifle. They all, every club I've been to has allowed me to allow people to shoot their 22s and shotguns. So you're covered for that as well. And some of them even have 22 rifle contests, like a weekly contest and that, which I've done, and it's actually quite a bit of fun. So you wait your so say up to 2 years, you get your license. Cool. I want to go buy a 45 1911. Oh, hang on. I now got to go and apply for another license, a high cal license, which when I did it was free. I just went down to the cop shop and they just I filled out a form, and within within 8 weeks I got it. 4 weeks, sorry, I got it back a month. Got it back and a new license in the mail, and I got a high cal put onto it. So why don't they just put the high cal onto your actual license? So you go do that, and then for the first year you can only own one centre fire or one rim fire and a air pistol. So I wouldn't waste your time with air pistols, really, to be honest with you there. Who the hell wants to go and do 4 shoots a year with an air pistol anyway? So you got that, and you can only buy one gun. You can't buy two of the same caliber because there's the different 4 classes. And so this is what all this rigmarole, it just puts people off. So they can cut all that crap out by there is no pistol license. You get a firearms license. Done deal. So you get to shoot both things. To me, it's an extra cost. It's an extra, whatever it is, $500 for 5 years. And this is the thing: your licenses only last 10 years. Or in Queensland, it's 10 years for rifle, 5 years for pistols. So people see I'm paying $400 to belong to a club. Then I'm paying another every 5 years, $500 for my pistol, and 10 years, another 500 every 10 years, another 500 for my rifle. It just all adds up, and people just don't have the money for all that. So that is what a real shame, and yeah, they really do need to yeah sort that out. That's for sure. You shouldn't have to go through all the rigmarole. There's no reason it should take 18 months either. Stella has said there are no pistol courses in Sydney at the moment. Well, definitely take a look at take a look and see if there is. Just hang in there, and yeah, the courses will come up. That's for sure. I'm sure there are courses happening. Okay, we have here. Yes, Salty Skipper. We will be talking about the Canadian thing where they're trying to ban handguns. Now, I know this will cause a bit of a stink, but every major gun ban in Australia has been underneath the Liberals. And I hate all politicians. They're all worthless in my eyes. But I guess in some way we could be lucky there's a Labor government in, because there's been no federal gun bans ever under Labor. So Canada is looking at banning all imports, and it's basically the end of the pistols in Canada, um, because of a shooting that happened in another country with a different sort of gun, with a rifle. So they decided to ban pistols over there. And it looks like it could be getting through in the next few weeks. And when it does, we'll talk about it. And I'm actually emailing off to quite a well-known Canadian person to actually talk to them about it and get some information on it all. So it's absolutely ridiculous. So what banning guns because of what happened in another country and a different gun they use is just just absurdity from the left. That's for sure. So yeah, that's the thing with the pistols. It's a real shame about that. Um, to just a real shame. That's all it is about the pistol shooting. So there's some very simple things, and some of that stuff isn't asking. A lot of that stuff is not asking back. So I would like to see um, people, whoever says they're fighting for us, to actually start doing it. Get rid of this genuine reason on the spot. Get rid of it. That's number one. Don't need a genuine reason at all, and get rid of mandatory shoots, and which is the two things that you could easily, well, probably not easily, but as I see as obtainable if they do it, and just to get on with it. That's for sure. So let me know what you think in the In the comment section, Mitchie says, "Is there a limit on how many 9mm pistols you can own in Queensland?" Yes, that's another thing. It's not so much a limit, but you can buy one, and then you can buy a second one, and the second one's meant to be a backup. So when you can go to contests, and if malfunctions and breaks or anything, you can keep doing your contest. But after that, you have to tell them why you need another one. So I've got a few 9mm, and it's just, well, I need this one because of um, this contest, and this pistol I use with a red dot, and that will get you through to your third one, and then your fourth one you can say, well, I need another one to have a red dot on it that can now be a backup for my red dot one. So that's another way of do it. That's the sort of thing we got to do as well. You got to justify why you're buying the pistols, which is absolutely ridiculous. You're buying them because you're an enthusiast and you enjoy the sport and you're licensed, and you should be allowed to go buy them. You shouldn't have to justify why you're buying them. Uh, okay. There we go. And we always talk about a bit about freedoms. Tankmaster, I would know. I would now know how uncomfortable I would feel not knowing a sense of freedom if I moved to the US. But I would let it grow on me. Yeah, exactly. You do hear that from a lot of people who go there, even there for holidays, and they can't believe what freedoms they have over there in America. Just not for guns; it's for freedom of speech. It's a lot of things. Um, yeah, definitely, you do feel. Yeah, it is like that. You just, just talk to the Americans over there, and they just can't believe how much we are hobbled over here, and we just take it. Um, and unfortunately, it's just the way it is here. Everything. I keep telling everyone, all my friends in America and other countries, where everything's expensive and everything is controlled over here. They like to have their hand in your life every which way they can. Unfortunately, a lot of people like that. So there's a lot of sick people out there that just like that sort of stuff, like being controlled. Sick, if you ask me. Uh, okay. Who else? So, what you guys got? Anything you want to talk about in the last couple of minutes before we go? There we go, Kirby. Uh, they are trying to take our guns away. Do you agree? Yeah, 100%. They want our guns gone. And I can tell you now, if they want our guns gone, they're going to be gone. But they won't ban the whole lot at once. At the end of the day, they do make a bit of money out of us. Well, quite a bit of money. There was a report of how there was a report on that where like the hunters and shooters are the bringing the most recreational money taxable income to the government, because you think that you go hunting, you buy the full drive, you buy the ammo, the guns, you got the licenses, you buy, if you live in states that you can have public land hunting, you're paying the government to hunt on land that technically belongs to you because you're a taxpayer. So you're paying to hunt on basically your own property, uh, and you have then you buy all the food, all the camping gear, and that is probably the biggest thing you can get into money wise is actually being a hunter, because it's not like being a range shooter or a pistol shooter where you just go to one place. And that's another thing I was going to say. What really turns a lot of people off shooting is pistol shooting is you can't shoot your pistols on private land over here. The dumbest law there is. And that's another thing that I think if we get rid of the genuine reason, that's will definitely, I think, will open up that we can possibly get pistols on private land. But we need someone who will get up and fight and do the court case and everything for no more genuine reason. And so once they do that, I think that'll open up. You won't need to belong to a club, but see, this is the thing: we have the two licenses, a pistol and a rifle. So where they'll say, okay, well, you don't need genuine reason for rifle, but you're going to have to keep it for the pistol and mandatory shoots for the pistols. So once they can get rid of all that, I think that will open up. But once again, really, people who say they're fighting for us, are they really going to go and get up? Are they going to want to lose their genuine reason? That's what you ask. And if you belong to an organisation that has a genuine reason, email them, talk to them, tell them, I want you to fight to get rid of. I'm paying you. We want to see you try and get rid of the genuine reason. And if they say, well, we're not going to do it, boom, cancel your subscription. That's what I'd do if it was me. And that's what I have done, and that's what I will do. If I'm getting rid of all my organisation things, if memberships, if I don't see any progress um, on that thing, I've asked them before, and they just don't answer you. So if you belong to a organisation, ask them, why don't you fight for getting rid of the genuine reason? That is one step in the right direction, which I think is a must. And if they don't give you the answer you want to hear, move on. Go join just a playing club. I'll be spending I've decided to spend all my money at a club because they're not there to fight for you. They're there just to supply you a range and facilities. And I think that's your money better spent personally. Okay, I did see one up here. Once again, okay. Yeah, here we go. Aaron Johnston, the people that love being controlled are willing slaves. They are dictators' wet dream. Yep, couldn't agree more with you. Yep, just fall in line, shut your hole, go to work, pay your taxes, go home, sit there and watch TV, wake up and do it all over again. And that's pretty much it. Yep, that's it. That's all they want you to do. They don't really want you going outside and doing stuff. Like the government have said, they want 5 million people working from home. And you know why? Because they wanted this climate change garbage, pushing all that. And that's why they want you working from home, because they can say, oh, we're taking all these 5 million cars off the road. That's what they want to try and say. So that is my rant for the week. So, yep, simple things out there that can be done that I think are achievable. We just need some people with balls that will actually do it and take up the fight and go and actually fight to get rid of this genuine reason. And another one is pistols on private land. That will be a big push in the future. I think the best way to get people into the sport is by trying to lower the cost, not forcing them to belong to people and clubs and everything, because it's just another added expense. And things are getting worse and worse out there, and the economy is not going to get any better anytime soon. And I think next year, from what I'm seeing in the economy, is going to get worse. It started in New Zealand. America is going into a recession soon by the looks of it, and we'll just flow on from that. So we need people to actually get off and to get out and get rid of this genuine reason and start lowering costs so we get new people in. You imagine if one guy in a family, normally, okay, we've got to say mainly men, the guy wants to go shooting. Now he doesn't have to pay all those ridiculous fees and he's got a bit more freedom. He'll get his rest of his family into it because he can afford it now. I don't have to pay this genuine reason rubbish. Now I can afford to get my wife and kids into it. And they can enjoy it, and we can do something as a family. So, also shooting in here in Australia is the fastest growing female sport in Australia. So basically, yeah, if they try and ban it, all the feminists should be getting up in arms and not you're not liking it because you're banning something for females. The fastest growing sport there is in Australia for females is shooting, and that's come out. And I've said that before, and uh, yeah, it's just such a strong sport, and it can only get bigger if we can get rid of some of these ridiculous hurdles. So, oh, here's something else. Billy, okay, yeah. Another thing is Hello, I hear news about gun safe regulations changing sometime this year. Is it true? What's changing? I haven't heard that yet, but that's another thing. People don't want the police turning up and checking on their private property, knowing where they store it. That's another thing that is, I think, is just invasion of privacy. It's your private property. You own it. You don't need the authorities coming into your house, looking at all your private property and knowing where you store it. Uh, when they come to my last safe checks, they're telling me about some other bloke in the neighbourhood where has secret compartments in his games room that he hides all the safes behind walls and telling me all about it. That's that guy's private property. I don't know where he was, but you're telling how people where people hide their guns and that legally, because they had safes behind the walls. Why? It's just ridiculous. They've got to get rid of the safe checks as well. That's something that I don't like, and I know all shooters wouldn't like it unless you're a complete fud. Like the police coming to the home and snooping around and looking at all their what they have and that, because that's your private property. You shouldn't have to have people looking through it, especially strangers. So, guys, I hope you have had a fantastic week and have a fantastic week and a great weekend. And for you, who lucky people, who it is a long weekend, I really do hope you get out and have a shoot. Here in Queensland, we've got a normal weekend, back to work on Monday. But you enjoy yourself for the next week. Take care, and I'll see you in 7 days' time. Good night.